Seems like you guys are really digging the warning videos, right? But you're not alone. These women, these rock women, they are amazing. Amazing, without exaggeration. So today we're going to dive into ¿Qué más quieres? I already saw that unfortunately there aren't any subtitles available. So after we saw this video, I'm obviously going to do a little bit of research. But without any ado, let's go. Oh, by the way, I'm Kaan. I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Belgium. And I'm just finding inspiration in looking at new music videos from amazing artists. And I'm just dissecting the techniques, the camera equipment that they use and all that kind of stuff. So some of these may be assumptions. I'm not 100% sure about everything. But for the most part, I think I'm kind of right. And if there is a behind the scenes video of all of these videos, then I will watch them. But I just started a Patreon, so I will post a behind the scenes videos which I reacted on the Patreon channel, so you can check that out in the link in the description below. You will also be able to get early access and be able to vote on polls to see which songs and music videos I should react to. So let's go. This opening shot is already fire. Fire. Right. So let's rewind a little bit, right? So this first opening shot is absolutely beautiful. So either the walls were bluish and the, what do you call them? Like the closets were also like bluish, or they used some kind of blue lights, obviously. And it's just lit so nicely. Obviously they used some kind of tube lights on top of there. And then they did these very nice like jump cuts while jumping into the scene. And then they transitioned into like that little Polaroid right there. Very, very dope stuff. And as you can see, they're also using like the checkerboard technique. So here you have like a light spot, here a dark spot, light, dark, light again. And that's actually what makes a scene interesting, right? Because if everything would be lit at like the same strength, then the scene would look kind of boring, to be honest. I also really like that tiny VFX fly thing in there. And also the sound effect that they use for that. Fire. Here obviously they use like a lamp as a practical lamp. And that makes it seem like that light is actually lighting up her face. But they're probably using some kind of different lighting with a tungsten kind of tone, the same one that matches this light to light up that part of her face. And the light is very angled, like maybe 45 degrees next to her, and that gives this very nice shadow on the right part of her face, which just adds a lot of contrast to the image. And maybe they added like this huge black floppy, this is what you call a negative fill, to make the right side even darker, because sometimes when you light a scene with the light, then you have some spill of the light, and that's actually going to light other parts of the room that you don't actually want, And the way you can control this is by using something like a huge black backdrop to basically block that light off. Here's some other practical lights, the lamp, the candle, very nice. And the set design is also very beautiful. He looks like some kind of drug lord or something, as you can also see like the painting of him. And here you can also tell that they're using a lot of haze right here. So because of the haze, whenever you shine light in the room, then you are actually able to see these light rays. And you wouldn't be able to see that without haze or without some texture in the room. By the way, this is something that you should pay attention to in movies. Whenever there's interior scenes, good directors are going to use so many practical lights, so many lamps, because they add a lot of depth, a lot of texture to your scene. And also you can see here that because of this right here, this is maybe a door frame or something, and then the chairs right here, this is what allows you to create depth in your image. Okay, so pretty nice transition, just closing the door and then going over to the next scene. Okay, so here they're just clearly using one lighting on top of them, and I think that's lighting the entire room right here. So I have those as well. I have these light bulbs which you can actually control in a lot of ways. So I could make them flicker, I could make them flash, I could make them do the firework effect. They are RGB, so I could change them to any color temperature. So these kind of lights are very useful because you can actually fit them into regular lighting fixtures. That's such nice product placement, by the way. And this could be like a fire ad, you know, amazing. Another lamp. Let's rewind a little bit back to this scene right here. Here I think with the lantern they're using this kind of fuzzy bulb effect, so it's kind of like flashing in an irregular pattern, and they're obviously using like a tungsten color. The red carpet right here, the red curtains, the red, is it the sofa? They add so much to the scene, because set design is one of the most important things in filmmaking and photography, you guys, because sometimes you really want to have certain colors into your scene, but you can't force them into the scene if they're not present, you know? So that's why it's very important to think about what kind of colors, what kind of textures, what kind of materials you could add to your scene. Some very nice shadow play right there. Nice. Something that you also see in filmmaking is that you can see that the lighting is on this part of our face, but what filmmakers and cinematographers usually do, they shoot from the shadow side of a person. And what this does is this creates more contrast and more depth to your image compared to when you would shoot from the lit up side right there. This is such a nice shot, by the way. I really like how they purposefully chose a blue rose. I don't know what the meaning behind it is, but I do know that it really stands out compared to the red scenery right here. By the way, I forgot to mention that a lot of these scenes remind me of La Casa de Papel. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but that's actually one of my favorite Netflix shows I've ever seen. They kind of should have ended the show earlier, but the show was so good. The characters, the story, really one of my all-time favorite Netflix shows. Such a fire shot too, by the way. Obviously in the background they use some kind of RGB light with like a flashing police light effect. You can also tell that they used a lot of haze in this room right here because you can see the beam of this flashlight right here. And behind this man, I think there's also like a pretty harsh light lighting up right here. And there is not a lot, or maybe there isn't any light in front of them because their faces are pretty dark and the background is pretty lit up. So, oh yeah, now I see. This is like the practical lamp right here. I didn't notice that at first. Here you can see some very nice lighting as well. So his left side of the face, I think it's like perfectly angled, like next to him, like not in an angle, but like really, really next to him. So over here, I have to keep the framing in mind. And that's what also creates, what creates a lot of shadows on the other side of his face. But they also lit the room with some other lamp, as you can see right here, because otherwise I think it would be way darker. And this set is also very beautiful. They use a lot of harsh lighting in here, which I think is very nice. It really makes everything stand out. And then these, by the way, green and red are complementary colors, so they fit very nicely together. And that's obviously something that they took into account with this scene as well. Very nice blue eyeshadow as well. It really stands out from everything else. And I really like the pink curtains as well. The blue rose. A very nice backlit shot. So they're basically just having a light outside of this window and shining it through the window right here. fire, you guys. Okay, so we gotta rewind a little bit back again because there's still a lot to talk about, but from what I can understand of this music video and the song is, I think that she baited him for a murder and then she was able to get like all of his money or something like that. Very dope swipe transition right here. So they just basically pan the camera from left to right and then they do the same for another scene. And then perfectly in the middle, they sometimes add some kind of blur effect and then speed ramp it so you don't really notice the cut in between the two shots right there. And this shot is so nicely lit, very contrasty. You can see clearly that they're using some blue lights because they're also shining on his bald head right here and also one from the back and also here on his back, like on his shoulder. This is what you call a rim light, and then some very nice practical lighting in front of him with like a tungsten color. And this is also some very nice complementary colors because blue and orange, like teal and orange, they fit so well together. So that's some color theory, same with the red and the greens. Another nice swipe transition. Okay, so here it's clear that they're actually looking for the suspect. Indeed, we had this blue rose and then the red lipstick. So here they use a combination of soft and hard lighting, I think. So this lighting is pretty soft right here. And then we have this harsh spotlight right here, which is just roaming around through the room. And also the disco ball is so nice. So I think they basically have a harsh lighting fixture on there. And that basically makes the disco ball reflect through the entire room. And like a harsh lighting fixture is just a bare lighting fixture without any diffusion on there. So you would actually want to use diffusion if you want to have soft skin tones, pleasant colors, and harsh lighting is to make everything more dramatic, so without any diffusion, if that makes sense. Yep, very nice. Also a very nice backlit scene with a lot of haze right here, because you can clearly tell from all of the light rays. This is another very nice shot, also backlit, but also a softer light in front of them, a lot of haze as well. And this is such a beautiful shot as well, man. Like, I think it's on some kind of dolly, so you have rails and then your camera on some kind of rig on wheels, and then they slowly pan and then they slowly move forward, which really pulls you into the scene, you know? And then these perfectly symmetrical lights. I mean, not perfectly symmetrical, because I noticed that this table is a bit larger than this one, so it's not exactly at the same position. Anyways, the scene is just very nice. So that's just a small detail that I noticed. Also a very nice shot. Clearly a harsh light shining through the key. I can't come up with the name. The keyhole, right? It's not a keyhole, I know. But a harsh blue light with a lot of haze. Once again, very nice. Here also they had some kind of RGB lighting fixture in this case, and when they opened it, it lit up their faces. Quieres! This was fire. An absolute banger, you guys. The music video, I think this is one of the best I've seen of them, and I think I did 4 or 5 videos, but this was seriously impressive. This was a very, very cinematic video. So let's do a little bit of research and see if my assumptions were right. So ¿Qué más quieres apparently means what more do you want? But in Spanish, this isn't a polite question, it's confrontational, fed up, and emotional, like, haven't I done enough already? Why is nothing ever enough for you? The song is apparently about emotional exhaustion, being in a one-sided relationship, giving everything and still being criticized, finally snapping and demanding answers. So the lyrics apparently reflect guilt manipulation, moving goalposts in relationships, and always being told still not good enough. And I think it's a very relevant topic, right? Because in this day and age, I feel like there are so many divorces. I'm married myself to my beautiful, lovely wife, and we have a great relationship, but communication is one of the most important parts in life, with friends, with your loved ones, with family. And if that isn't there, then you just don't have a relationship, you know. And we also had some difficult times, you know, especially when our little baby girl was born 9 months ago. It was a bit more rough, honestly, compared to when we didn't have a baby, like more frustration, feeling tired more. But in those instances, communication is key, and you should really be able to give each other a break, if that makes sense. So apparently they chose Spanish for this song because Spanish naturally carries more emotional punch with certain phrases. It feels more personal and raw, and it sounds less filtered and more instinctive. And honestly, Spanish, I think, is my favorite language from the entire world. I used to have Spanish in school, in high school, for like 2 or 3 years, I think, but I already forgot a lot of that. Yo hablo un poco español. Me llama Kaan. Those are like the basic things that I still remember. But anyways, like I said, I saw that they have a behind the scenes from ¿Qué más quieres? I'm going to record that one, and I'm going to drop that on a Patreon. So head down into the link in the description below to check out my Patreon. And please let me know what other kind of songs, behind the scenes, and all the kind of stuff you'd want me to do. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Kaan out. Peace.